Greetings and welcome to our Sunday 30th of April 2023 live stream. Kings and Hypocrites, that will be a subject we're going to touch on this evening. First, I'd like to say a big hello to Jeff Gashead and Joker Man for taking the time to comment in the live chat. If anyone else has tuned in and wants to say hello in there or suggest any news stories for us to look at this evening, then I always welcome them. We're gonna look at a couple of things I have already, pre-planned. Twitter, I put out a short video actually the other week. I don't know if any of you have caught it. Terrible numbers on it. Let's see. I'll just anyway, it was about Elon Musk and how he put out his tweets now just get bombarded. I believe on every single user of the platform is just told that Elon Musk has tweeted, and I'll show you the latest one that I was informed about. Greetings to Maria Ellender, good to see you in the chat, thanks for tuning in. Let's bring up, let me find it. Right, I'll just I will very quickly just check my audio, make sure it's playing back alright. Yeah, it seems to be okay. I will lose the background music for now. And I will bring up our display. Right, Twitter. Yeah, by the way, I have put a link to this very tweet in the live chat if anyone wants to retweet it, if you use the platform. If not, I honestly don't blame you. I don't know why anyone would want to use this rubbish platform. This is what is getting forced upon us now. Images from Elon Musk. You might ask what it is. Yeah, the last one. Where's my shorts video that I put out? Elon Musk numerology. This was it here. And yeah, I just pointed out that the numerology of his last tweet happened to be checkmate, a lot shorter one this time. Interesting, a lot of the response I saw to the tweet seemed to be a huge amount of people telling him you're not going to leave Earth. Like, if we have the knowledge and resources to terraform Mars, then we definitely have the resources to make Earth habitable again. What are you talking about? Earth is perfectly habitable. You're not going to live anywhere else ever. Yeah, we've been provided an incredible ecosystem all around us. Incredible weather that causes the trees to grow and plants to, flower. So don't believe their lies that Earth isn't habitable. Some of the comments I saw to this were people saying, for the human race to continue, we'll have to go and live on Mars. Complete, absolute nonsense. This is my reply, is that lightning falling from heaven? That's what it looks like to me. A sheet of glass, which reminded me of something I saw. Oh, I've got a cat meowing actually. Let me just check. Sorry guys, I'm gonna have to just go to our break, literally for 30 seconds, just while I open the door for the cat. My apologies. Absolute crap. Designed to disgust us, designed to make us annoyed. I'll be right back. Alternatively designed to buy into their lies. Look at these people not as fakes and frauds, but as people to be celebrated. Look how good she looked having her miscarriage. Not that she did look good, she looked an absolute bizarre piece of work, that's for sure. Shocked to realise she had an abortion, not a miscarriage. What? Okay, you saying they didn't give you a choice? The 36 get their numbers in. Year-old television personality who had Luna 6 and Miles 4 is expecting another baby with husband John Legend. They tragically lost a little boy halfway through their pregnancy, and in a new interview, the former Sports Illustrated swimsuit cover star, Alarm Bells, explained how shocked she was to realise it was an abortion she had, not a miscarriage. Okay, sorry about that. We are back. Right, we're going to jump straight back to what we were looking at. Yeah, we've got this older cat that he comes to see us every so often. So thank you for your patience. Just looking at the live chat. Who, if I haven't already said hello to, Jeff, Maria and Jokerman, thanks for tuning in. Jeff says Elon's fake rockets. Well, that picture we're looking at isn't even a rocket. It's clearly CGI. It's a piece of glass, or corrugated steel, crushing into a river. And I guess it's meant to give us the idea of what the Earth's falling through. Who knows? And he says home. What is the numerological value of home? Perhaps it won't be of much relevance. It's a 23 actually in Pythag and a 21 in Chaldean. Yeah, 23, 33, 22s. A lot of dual numbers coming up all the time. But yeah, it can't be coincidence, seriously. Right. Yeah, I was surprised just by how many people seem to be telling him we're not going to be leaving the Earth. Elon, please have... oh, right. People asking him to uncensor the platform. Right. Again, all the blue ticks are the only ones that seem to get any... any, like, attention. Someone's done an artist depiction of Elon. Is this meant to be him on Mars? No, it's him at a museum, just showing off some weird contraption. Who knows? Let's see. Right, yeah, I'm sure I want to see one of these messages where perhaps they've been pushed down, although I wouldn't be surprised if it is bots leaving half of them. Elon Musk is an alien. Well, alien in the form of AI, as it were. Is AI, artificial intelligence, a kind of alien? I don't know, you'd have to make your own judgment on that. I've heard people suggest it would be a very good way for demonic entities to communicate using AI. And yeah, when you hear some of the things people say these AIs come out saying, yeah, you have to wonder sometimes. Right. We're not getting too many of the people denying that they would leave. On that note, I wouldn't actually be surprised if it comes out that they did fake the moon landing. Once anyone who is, anyone that was responsible for the moon landing who's still alive that could be, prosecuted or held to account, once they've all gone, then I do believe that they would have no problem saying, yeah, we did fake it back in the 1960s, but now here in the 50s, 60s, we're doing it all again for real this time. And then once the press stopped talking about people like Buzz Aldrin, Neil Armstrong, Kennedy, Apollo, well, they'll never stop talking about Apollo, of course, but they would just do it all over again, perhaps. Who knows? History can be changed and written so quickly. This is a video by Level Earth Observer. I quite often mention this guy's channel. I do enjoy it. He left this, which is on SCG TV, which I guess is some news station in America. I will just watch it for a second. I will, of course, leave a link to this video in the description of tonight's video and in the live chat in a second.
appear if they're in space, because that sure would be something, wouldn't it? I'm calling on the Brevard County Commissioners to open a full investigation into NASA's fraudulent practices and use of taxpayer dollars. It costs NASA $3 billion per year to operate the ISS, and if they don't have a darn good explanation as to why they're faking these videos, I and the public would like a darn good explanation as to where our tax money is going.
So finally, someone has come out, or I say finally, people have been doing it for a long time, but someone has come out and made it onto the news denying the fact that anything's actually going on in the ISS, which when you look at the filming of it, it's just blatantly a production. That is what everything we see from the ISS, as this guy is saying, about they use harnesses, they use special effects. What do you think the response was of these people? Although this itself looks like I'm not sure what this was, who this person is, whether he's legit. I'd be interested to know his name. It's the Brevard County Commission, of course, done on the 4th of the 4th, because they love to get their numbers in at 5:36. And I believe as I say, the only reason they would ever admit or let the general public know that they did, of course, fabricate the Apollo missions. Now, I know a lot of people, there are people out there who 100 million% completely believe it happened, and they're, of course, entitled to that view. But my personal, I wouldn't, research into it, if you could even call it that. My observations of the rubbish they put out, no, I'm not going to buy that, not for 1 second. Maria says, I don't think they're teaching children the importance of CO2 and how it's necessary for all plants. No, you're absolutely right. They're teaching us that CO2 is a poison, I think. I don't know. It's absolute rubbish they're talking. That is one thing you can be certain of. CO2, how ridiculous. Right. The only reason we'll ever hear, like, the United States governor, or even see it written on Wikipedia that, it was confirmed. They had to hold their hands up. Looking back, the footage didn't age well. There was no way people were going to accept the rubbish we were shown, because up till now they certainly have. A huge amount of people have. It's just cartoon. I mean, I don't know if you remember the TV program Button Moon. If you stuck a NASA logo in the top of that and put that on the news, people would probably accept that the Button Moon was official footage from NASA. Let's see. Jeff says rockets end up in the sea and then they put a balloon up to imitate a satellite. Yeah, definitely. Balloons are 100% being released on a daily basis. They send them up by the shed load. Level Earth Observer. I'll put a link in to his video in a minute, because I think that one's worth watching if you haven't already. I remember seeing him in the live chat once, and I made the point that the reason I wouldn't cover what this guy does, he is just the amount of rubbish they get back up, on the back of it. I've seen some pretty, despicable behaviour in the comments on outright lying, outright misrepresenting people, questioning motives rather than the actual argument being put forward. Although a lot of Leo's comments at the moment seem, but you'll always come across someone that is just saying, you're not agreeing with Wikipedia, you must be way off the mark. I just couldn't be dealing with them. Some of the interactions I have had with people makes you realise how, it's just not how I want to spend my time dealing with those sorts of people. But I do massively appreciate dealing with the likes of Joker Man, Maria and Jeff, who are in the live chat tonight. Thank you ever so much. Yeah, NASA releasing balloons. Do NASA release balloons? NASA Wallops Flight Facility balloon program with 10 to 15 flights on average each year from the launch. I thought it was a lot more than that. Yeah, they clearly do it. No doubt tying in with any supposed launches that happen. I'm not sure if this is meant to be official footage taken from the balloon, but no. It's just more fakery from NASA, surely. Why would you send up such a ridiculous contraption on the end of a balloon? No, I don't think they send things like that up. Not a chance. Right, scientific balloons from NASA. Yeah, the balloon program. Okay, they're sticking with 10 to 15 flights on average each year. I bet they send up a lot more than that. And it doesn't, or maybe it does look like what we see. Do they show the payload? Is this what they're sending up? Is that what they're saying? This little thing here? I don't know. But yeah, scientific balloons. Data gathering balloons is what they mean. Jeff says we make the 8-ton satellites in the UK for balloons. Okay. I wouldn't, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I know that, yeah, British Aerospace, they produce an awful lot of things, absolutely, 100%. But I didn't know they made the 8-ton satellite. Yeah, that would be a colossal balloon, Jeff. Although, would it be any more than, they can take aeroplanes up with, I mean, how many tons must an aeroplane be? So if they can get one of them into the sky, then no doubt they can get an 8-ton. Well, that is a ridiculous amount, though, for a balloon, I agree. But yeah, the secrets of the air are being harnessed, that's for sure. Right, Elon Musk. Hang on, where are we? Let's see. Yeah, so yeah, if you enjoy Twitter, then that is the sort of rubbish you have to put up with. I want to find the comments from people saying like how unlikely it was anyone could ever leave Earth, but I do notice every single one of them mentions the word planet, Planet. Neil Armstrong was the first person to land on the moon. Neil A backwards is alien. Interesting coincidence. And then more CGI pictures. Very nice though. Right, we'll come off of here. Yeah, I could show you some of the comments, but I'm sure you are all used to them. Just as there are films of them. Okay, we'll have a quick look at the... Well, I say a quick look. We'll look at the 8-ton satellite. Well, that's clearly a cartoon. 6-ton satellite due to crash back to Earth. So are these on a balloon then? It's certainly attached to something. I don't know.
Input from the sun and the winds and temperatures in the stratosphere. In 1991, UARS was launched by the shuttle Discovery.
Yeah, these are all typical Telegraph NASA rubbish. Which, and then straight onto the cartoon CGI. That is clearly cartoon. They're surely not pretending it's anything else, are they? Maybe it's enough for some people. Is it missing a wing or something? Or is it... I mean, what's filming this? They must have something which is very steady, not being rocked around by... who knows? Very golden. Yeah, that's obviously CGI. They're not expecting us to buy that, of course. Jokerman says Neil means champion. Yeah, Jeff, are these the videos you're talking about? Of 8-ton satellites being taken up on balloons. You never see these things actually land on the ground, like in one complete take from the air. And the speed it drops, you never see it. Right, 1 minute. Astronauts return to Earth. They're on a tight... Look at that. You see that impact there? Whoever was in that would have been pretty badly shaken around. No way you would come out of that without at least some severe bruising. This is a high impact crash to the ground. It's just a tiny little balloon. And then, yeah, no problem. Dragged me out of this pit. I haven't broken my leg, so I wasn't smashed to pieces on impact. I'm absolutely fine. Yeah, my glass helmet, that withstood the impact, no problem. We're all laughing and joking about it. This is ridiculous stuff. Yeah. Straight out of the studio, of course. These crazy people. For me, you just have to see that balloon land. And as I say, you'll never see a continuous shot of the balloon coming from the sky or the parachute hitting the earth, and then the people getting out of it. They'll always cut it to bits. Here we go, massive impact, and the very next scene, we don't just straight out the cockpit or whatever you call that thing. These things are ridiculous. And this is what landed. This is what, was it something nice, soft and padded, or was it just a metal, or like that would survive that impact without even a dent on it? No dust on it from that big explosion, just landed perfectly. Crazy stuff. And here we another video of the impact. Will we see a continuous... Nope, they've cut it. Why won't this go large screen? Hang on. Right, we'll just sit through the advert for a minute. Yeah, Jeff said you would die. Of course you would. That would be one heck of a impact. Right, this is China's Shenzhou. 10 astronaut returned safely to Earth. What a surprise. As if, again, the same footage of them coming down with that same parachute. And a big explosion into the ground. And loads of people applauding. Yeah, we don't know if they survived. No, they were all killed on impact, sorry. Oh, maybe we're going to see a continuous shot. Nope, not at all. Didn't even see him inside it, let alone getting out. Of course, they've got that orange because the colour orange has a particular numeric value. All about getting their numbers in, as I repeatedly say. What a strange sight that is. Madness. These people being treated like kings for just taking part in their fairy tale. Of course. Oh, looking back at the return. Okay, is this better footage? I mean, that is nothing like the images we just saw. Maria mentions a funny thing happened on the way to the moon. Yeah, that is a good documentary for exposing the fakeness of the whole NASA. Jokerman mentions scrawny to brawny. I'll mention one that, I've mentioned him before, Taboo Conspiracy, and he's put some good videos out. That's one that I would suggest. But yeah, I have also watched Scrawny to Brawny, and I've seen that documentary. Let's see, I don't know if I'm subscribed to Scrawny. We will see. Oh, I am, yeah. Okay. I'm not sure if... Yeah, 4 years ago. A lot of these channels have stopped putting content out now, I noticed, but it's still up there. Well, he didn't put many videos out. Perhaps he... Okay, he was around for a long time. And, of course, we'll have a look at a funny thing happened. On the way to the moon, here we go. Yeah, I believe there were 2 films, actually. Of course, the original is Bart Sabrell, who I know he might have his own channel on YouTube, I'm not sure. Is this the whole thing? Yeah, there's uploads of it. Of course I'm not going to plagiarize anyone's work, well, other than just to give it a cursory glance. Is this the one where they talk about how they faked the capture in the problem I have with this documentary is that they still talk about it like Neil and Buzz actually went anywhere. They don't seriously rule out the possibility that it could have happened at least once. They're not saying all 7 of the moon landings were blatantly faked, but anyway, you'll have to watch it for yourself and judge for yourself. I will, of course, put links to these videos in the description of tonight's video. Jokerman mentions Conspiracy Music Guru. Yep, definitely another great channel. Thanks for the recommendations. Right. Let me see. Yeah, on to the subject of babies and the fabricated babies that we're continually seeing on mainstream media on programs like this. I mean, I don't know what 50-year-old explains why she had an IVF baby born after being conceived by a robot. What on earth are they talking about? Remember what we were saying about AI, and when they say conceived by a robot, do they mean that it's a AI production? All completely filmed using AI. They didn't, know. I don't know. But, right, let's hear about what robots are now able to do. 2 healthy babies have been born in Spain from human eggs fertilized by a sperm-injecting robot that is controlled by a PlayStation 5 controller. Wow. If that didn't seem like a premise for a science fiction movie. Oh, it is science fiction, I gotcha. Well, it's certainly fiction, yeah, I know. You really think they tell it like it is? Not for a second. The usual treatment involves specialists combining... Yeah, well, right. Current practices are expensive, delicate, and very hard work to get right. Each attempt at a pregnancy reportedly costs 20 grand. Wow. The production of humans is out there. Maria says you watched Bart Sibrel being interviewed recently, and he has a YouTube channel. Good. That wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, let me see. I'm not subscribed to him, though. I know that much. I don't think I am. I could be wrong. Yeah, there he is. Okay, of course I'll put links in the description, or just search that name. He's one of the first ones that come up. Although I'm not 100% sure if he has... Well, I assume he would have those videos up on his channel, so yeah. But they're not the first result you get on the Google search. Sorry, YouTube. But yeah, certainly worth checking out. Jokerman says that They Live Truth did an expose on Bart. Yes, and he also interviewed Bart as well. He doesn't seem that switched on to... I don't know. Yes, he doubts... He certainly has brought us information about the moon landings not being legit, but he doesn't seem... I don't know how much further he goes after that. I don't know. You'd have to check out his channel for yourself. Right. Yeah, the title of tonight's video is Kings and Hypocrites. We will certainly be going on to that subject tonight. There was 1 or 2 other things I wanted to look at before we do, and then after our intermission that will take place in about the next 10 to 20 minutes, we'll have a quick break at like 5 or 6 minutes when I refill my drink, and then we'll carry on till about 11:30 tonight. Jokerman says he's not a flat earther. No, exactly, he isn't. He still believes mainstream media. He takes it all. Yeah. How once you accept that mainstream media were involved in anything as just kind of, massive as letting the government tell everyone they went somewhere they have no chance of ever going. Once you realise they're they've been involved in that. Why would you ever give them any trust again? The only reason, as I say, the only reason they would ever tell you, yeah, we did fake the moon landing, or not we, sorry, they, back 100 years ago, 80 years ago, all the people that have now passed on and are no longer accountable, once they're all forgotten about and no one in power at the time will be made to look stupid or dishonest, they'll come out and say, yeah, we faked it all. But don't worry, we're definitely doing it for real this time. We realised the graphics, the poor, well, not poor, they were good quality for its day. It convinced generations of people, even up to now, still buying this rubbish. But it hasn't aged well. In some shots, the astronauts are transparent. I mean, what's going on there? How could you watch that and not completely... Well... does that look like a face? Like an evil face? It's kind of something like out of a science fiction film. Some killer wasp or bug? I don't know. It's all make-believe. But just one step further than, say, going to watch a Star Wars, for example. It's just pushed in a slightly different direction. But this and Star Wars are all identical sort of programming. From start to finish. Oh, Maria's saying someone's a con man. Are we saying Bart Sibrel's a con man? I've not heard such a thing. I don't know if that's the case. Let's see. Right, the other week I mentioned in one of my midweek streams about Daniela Westbrook and is she the cost of being part of the world of production, the world of celebrities pretending they're something they're not? Is Daniela Westbrook not, as they tell us, she didn't lose her nose, her septum didn't collapse due to excessive drug use, but she had the thing removed? Is that not, when you look at the treatment these people must be having, if you look closely at parts of their body, or parts of their face particularly, you cannot. Well, who knows? Either that or it's just very good plasticine. What a... this is another... Who would allow themselves to be photographed in such a state? But then I suppose she's not really in much of a position to say no. I'm going to say Daniela Westbrook. Yeah, that's probably a fake nose. I suspect her septum is under there. They've just overlaid this over... No. I mean, no doubt the person's had treatment on their nose. Oh, who knows what's going on with these people. They're so far from what I consider, I don't know, madness. Anyway, apparently she's been rushed to hospital. But this news article was like from 5 hours ago. Where is it? Yeah, 4 hours ago. And yet, this is exactly the same story as they published. Must be over a week ago when I've covered it. She's come through. I bet they made a documentary. I bet she had TV crews following her around. And we'll get to see this for ourselves. I wouldn't be at all surprised if... Yeah, she's going to have... Let's see, is this the actual... No, it's just a screenshot. We'll have a quick look at Daniela Westbrook's Insta account. Yeah, you know, regular viewers will absolutely know I'm suspicious to heck of many of the people that work as actors in soap operas. The strange thing is, she just looks identical to the characters that are in it now. These people do all look... Right, where was that video? Did she show herself going through horrible treatment? Who knows? But one good thing, no fake babies. That's something at least. Right. Okay, I'm going to come away from her. They did, of course, change the actress, as far as they're telling us, but I wouldn't be surprised to find out it was the same actor, all, you know, anyway. Okay, Maria, I gotcha. Right. Okay. Yeah, we will be going to our intermission soon, actually, in the next sort of 5 to 10 minutes. And when we come back, we'll be looking at what I consider Kings and Hypocrites. By the next Sunday, the following Sunday after this, it will be just after a load of supposedly powerful people have just demolished the Sabbath day. That is all I will be seeing next Saturday as. If you're not, I'm sure you're familiar with. Look at this. More police boots on the ground, and amid coronation backlash, people are supposedly protest. You know, they're saying they're gonna stop police on boots. So amid any backlash, amid any protesting about that might happen to go on the Sabbath day, on the coronation of the king, that day, the fact that the king is getting crowned on that day is secondary. It's means it means nothing to me. Yeah, I will not be acknowledging that rubbish on that particular day. But yeah, I will be pointing out just how hypocritical this argument is after we come back. Yeah, be interesting to see. I did see something about people being asked to pledge allegiance. Where was it? Pledge allegiance. Will you be doing this? I believe next Saturday you will have the opportunity in the middle of the day where you should be exclusively you should be devoting it exclusively to God. They're asking you to make a vow to a pledge to King Charles. What a disgrace. Anti-monarchy critics say they will refuse to join in. What a surprise. Yeah, what a time to hold your protest on the 7th day. What a mistake. Huge mistake. Does that look like Charles? He keeps changing his appearance every time I see him now. Not every time, sorry. But a few times over the last, I would say, 2 years. What am I doing? He just completely looks different. And they're always wearing the same blue suit. They love the colour blue, by the looks of things. I don't know. When I last saw him, when I saw him on the set of EastEnders, he did not look like that. Let me bring that up. Hang on, we'll open this one. And then we'll compare this. We'll compare this image to When was it? Charles. During the bullcrap lockdowns, I'm sure they... Didn't he supposedly go into hospital with it? Right, here's another one of him. No. Right. They're telling us these two are the same. I don't know, you have to, again, as always, judge for yourself. But what a terrible picture this is. Could they not have got a worse image of him? He actually looks like, to me, Mr. Burns. Right, where are we? Let's compare these two images. Oh, gosh. Hang on, we'll get there in a minute. We'll have them all lined up in just a second. Right, there's one. What? Hang on, we'll get there in a minute. We'll have these two images side by side in just 1 second. Let me work it out. Right. Okay, we're starting to get there. Do these two people look remotely the same to you? If anything, he looks younger now than he did back then. I don't know. I would say nothing like each other. Completely different shape hair. Their hairline's completely different, for one thing. I hope you can see both of them. Okay. Just make sure it's lined up 1 second. Yeah, more or less. Yeah, I don't know. That looks nothing like... Neither of these actually look what I would... Look like what I would consider Charles too. I'll see if I can find a picture of... Yeah, how I would consider him. Let's see. That's your kind of... Although that aspect ratio is all over the shop. I don't know, looking closely, none of them actually look that real to me anymore. Who knows? Rubber masks, what do you think? Rubber mask central. The ears, of course, are one of the distinguishing features, meaning that if you put that haircut, you put those unusual shaped ears and that unusual shaped nose on 90% of people with a similar shaped head, you could probably... There's a formula to looking like Charles, if you know what I mean. Just need the hair, nose, ears, and I guess the really narrow eyes. However, the way they make eyes look narrower is to make the sides of the head look wider. So that is how they get this appearance of the eyes are tiny, squished together. Yeah, they've just got really wide. All this stuff on the sides is probably padded out with who knows what they use. Maria says he went bald and then grew his hair back again. Do you know what? I unfortunately know someone that had hair implants. My goodness, what absolute lunatics. I'm sorry. whatever. Vanity, you know, is a painful luxury. Goodness me. Yeah, I'm not saying Charles has had this. I'm not saying he has had hair implants. My personal opinion would be that's just a layer of plasticine. That is just a rubber mask, and there's a hair stuck onto the top of it. Does someone, you know, is there actually a genuine Charles? You would hope so, wouldn't you? But yeah, none of these people actually particularly look similar. You may think differently, but they all look darn strange if you ask me. Anyway, that is our soon-to-be crowned king. Okay, we are getting to the stage of the evening where we are heading towards a intermission. I am going to take this opportunity to thank my Patreon supporter Linda Mack and Midnight Scribbler, otherwise known as Joker Man, who's in the live chat. Thanks ever so much for tuning in tonight. And yeah, been fortunate to have a bit of interaction with Joker Man, and I can say, yeah, seems like I'm, you know, really pleased to have you tuning into the live stream. Thanks, always, yeah, thanks for sharing Sunday evening with us, as it were. And yeah, thanks also to Skeptic936 and Nathan Oakley for contributing also to the show. Another way you can show your appreciation to tonight's live stream is by hitting the thumbs up button, subscribing to the channel if you're not already, and sharing over on social media. They are a few ways that would mean a lot to me if you felt the need. Right, before we do go to our intermission, which is, let me see, what's it called tonight? The video will be Meghan and Harry's scripted Netflix. Again, this is another video of mine from December 2022. If you were with us in the pre-show, you would have seen another video that I put out. But both of these have been uploaded to my Chronicles of the Unconvinced channel, so if you haven't seen them before, although the original footage does come from one of my live streams from this show, so you might have seen it one way or another if you're a regular viewer. Okay, right, have a quick catch up with the live chat before we go for our break. Maria says Charlie is not your king, there is only one, and there isn't this WRF puppet. Yeah, God is the only person we should be worshipping, particularly on the seventh day, the Sabbath day. Cannot emphasize that enough. Observe the Sabbath day, it is incredible. Before we do, no, we'll do it when we come back, I guess. Yeah, I want to mention some scripture I saw that just puts into perspective a really good reason for observing the Sabbath day. But we'll mention that when we come back. We've only got like 30 minutes left before we will be finishing the stream, because after 11:30 PM UK time, which it will be, my ability to make sense greatly diminishes, and I will not inflict that upon you. Yeah, so just to keep me going, I just need to take a quick 5-minute break. I do hope you can make it back for the second part of the stream, but I do understand it's getting late. You can always watch it on replay if you're not able to. Yeah, and as I've already said, if you do leave, please, yeah, hit the thumbs up button before you go. That'd be massive for me. Okay, I will be back in... This video is about 8 minutes long, but hopefully I'll be back before then. Okay, see you in a minute. Greetings and welcome to episode 5 of the Bobby Z Show. So I'm going to start by inviting anyone that likes what I do on this channel, anyone that enjoys the Bobby Z Show and wants to support. There are a couple of very simple ways you can do it. If you want to just hit the thumbs up button, that, as far as I know, is somehow beneficial. If you want to subscribe to the channel, if you're not already, sharing over on social media. I have put a tweet out. If anyone wants to go over and just hit the retweet button, it would be good to stretch out my audience. At the end of the last episode, I did touch upon Prince Harry wearing his Spider-Man outfit. It's going to set the theme of today's episode because we can hear him talk his rubbish again, and then we'll look a bit closer at it and some of my thoughts on it. Who knows who it is? It's some guy wearing a Spider-Man outfit. I am of the opinion that an awful lot of what we see about Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, all the children could be CGI. They could easily use CGI for these things. Yeah, this is apparently a message to bereaved children. Bear in mind, this video that we're watching now, the resolution of it is 1280 by 1280, which is pretty high res. Look how absolutely awful this picture quality is. I've got phones from 10 years ago, which if I took a video and they came out as rubbish quality as this video did, I would be chucking it in the bin. I'd be saying, why am I using this absolute piece of garbage? But let's hear what he says.
Hey Scotty Little Soldiers, welcome to the Christmas...
Scotty's Little Soldiers, that's the name of this club that Harry is some sort of patron of. Do you remember that Well Child or some charity they've set up to probably, well, they don't pay taxes, so they don't have to worry about dodging taxes. For one reason or another, Harry once attended, he gave a talk, his auto cue broke down and the press reported it as an emotional breakdown. It wasn't, it was a mechanical breakdown, but whatever.
Party. I hope you guys got some rest before tonight's excitement. I hear from Sharky and George there are 5 villains that you guys need to stop from ruining Christmas. So, use your teamwork, your brains and your brawn.
5 villains that are gonna ruin Christmas. Bear in mind, when you think of Harry, how big his ears are, how high up his forehead generally is, whoever's wearing this suit doesn't cover it. And what it reminds me of, have you ever seen people where they wear these like blue suits and they have little sensors on them? They can put it into computer games. They can animate these people based on these suits.
So make sure that you do exactly that. Find them and don't let them ruin Christmas, okay?
Absolutely bizarre the reason Sky News would even broadcast this. Isn't this some personal message to the kids that have attended Scotty's Little Soldiers, whatever that is? No way I'd let a child attend Scotty's Little Soldiers, but whatever. But they're bereaved, aren't they? So some of them may be vulnerable and not have parents who can protect them from people like this.
At the same time, Christmas is a time when we miss our loved ones really, really bad.
So it sounds like he's given these kids instructions about finding villains, probably some really half-assed terrible game that they force these poor kids to play. Probably about as complicated as Pass the Parcel. This is of course an opportune moment for Harry to be an authority on who is allowed to feel grief or not, because of course in a very high profile way he lost his mum, and of course he got right in front of the cameras as a child just to make sure everyone knew it.
And that's okay. But at the same time, it can be possible to feel guilty for having fun without our parents. But I'm here to assure you...
How bizarre is this? What a weird message to give bereaved children dressed as Spider-Man. The reason I think they've got him dressed as Spider-Man, we'll see at the end.
Parents always want us to have fun, okay? So don't feel guilty. You're allowed to have the best time ever, especially with this Scotty's Little Soldiers.
I don't think many people have the best time ever at Scotty's Little Soldiers, but I've never been. Let's not be so pessimistic and so critical.
So go out there, have the best time, and...
CGI. This is the first time in this whole 52-second clip. Where's his ears gone? They've just suddenly vanished on this little bit, have they? No ears whatsoever. The use of a Spider-Man suit simply means that they don't have to animate too much of him, and they only have to have him on screen for like 3 seconds. Mudlark mentions when he burst out laughing and Gabby Roslin had to make it seem like he was crying by putting his arm around him. You're absolutely right. Was it called Well Child? There is a video up on my channel about it. They had their Netflix program come out recently. I'm not sure how many episodes are up. I don't know if I could genuinely sit through watching it. I think if I did, I would have to do it. It would be done in a very critical way. Of course, I can't put it on a live stream and play it along like I do a piece from Sky News, because that would have been taken down instantly for copyright. Look at Harry's finger just there. In my opinion, they've messed up the hands. That is the one thing they seem to get wrong. There's 2 things that when they do CGI, they all get wrong. And that is the hands and the ears. And also the colour, of course, sometimes. I have put Harry's picture in GIMP, graphic image manipulation program, to mess with the levels to see if you can see any artifact. But to be honest, just looking at that hand there, something's not right about it. Going back to the Netflix documentary, actually, Netflix were fuming about the doc. In the trailer that we did watch, I think it was episode 3, they had used some images from a Harry Potter premiere, and they had taken the crowd from that and used it in the preview of the Netflix program. Didn't go down too well. I can't comment too much on the Netflix series. Who do you think made that documentary? Was it a independent film crew, or was it an in-house production company that seemed to provide all images of them? I think they're called Archwell. Oh, did you know Harry and Meghan have a shared signature? They only need one of them to write it. The same people that create this website, take all the pictures of Harry and Meghan, also happen to be the company that made that Netflix documentary. Someone else that supposedly had a child. I've made plenty of videos on him before. People say, why would they fake any of these pictures? Believe it's just a practice. Once they cut their teeth. Speaking of cutting their teeth, look how fake this guy's teeth are. The reason I'm covering Jake Quickenden, not because I've got anything against him personally, if him is a real person. If I look at those teeth, I automatically question it. But whenever I do a search on Instagram, his images just seem to come up. And he has actually contacted me on Twitter and told me I was insane, as did like a million of his admirers, telling me I need to get help and stuff. They give away what they're doing. If you watch this one, a lot of people said, these are their personal pictures of their children. How dare you scrutinize them? Hang on. This moron is putting these images up on his public Instagram account. These are a production. As much as when he advertises I'm a Celebrity or whatever other program he advertises. This clip of the child sticking his tongue out. Image. Yeah, we are going to actually have a closer look at this, because I agree. The CGI on it is really good. Although they often have the children with either wet hair or their hair's tied up, it's very rigid so that they don't have to individually animate each strand of hair. Remember what I said, ears, look at his ear and look at his finger, but we're going to go back to that in a minute. He starts sticking his tongue out. Earlier on Jake Quickenden's timeline, pretty much tell us how they did it. By the way, sticking the tongue out, of course, is a sign of mockery. I don't know whether the older child is photoshopped, who knows, CGI'd. What they're using now is a filter that you get for free on smartphones or with certain apps. Yeah, that's just animated, and it happens to be, that's the cheap crappy version. And what they did with the baby, okay, my apologies, that was actually the wrong video. That was not Harry and Meghan and Harry scripted Netflix. That was the video we played at the pre-show, meaning, well, part of it, there was still another 6 minutes to go. I'll leave a link to it in the description if anyone wants to see it. It's on my Chronicles of the Unconvinced channel, although it is taken from one of my Bobby's Ed shows, which are on this channel as well. But yeah, sorry about that. I meant to play a different one. I've got one more to play out with tonight. Okay, we're going to carry on. Let's see. Yeah, I was talking about the coronation being on the Sabbath day. The seventh day, the day of rest, is something I frequently mention as being an important thing to observe. What is it? I may not have ever gone into huge... I imagine most people know that the seventh day is, we're told in the Ten Commandments to observe the Sabbath day, a day dedicated to God. Now a lot of people will say, well, Jesus came, and once he took away our sins, it meant we no longer had to observe the Ten Commandments. I don't know, that seems to be their outlook on it. However, there is, from the chapter 4 of Hebrews, a really good, I think it's a great reason for a great example of why we should still observe the Sabbath day. It mentions about entering, the promise of entering God's rest, and about before the writing of the Ten Commandments, when Moses went up Mount Sinai for 40 nights and came down to find that the people had made a gold statue that they were worshipping. and he had to give, he gave them the 10 Commandments that the Israelites who had been led out of Egypt had to follow in order to make it into what God was telling them was his rest, the promised land. If Joshua, right, I'm pretty confident he was one of the spies that was sent into the land of Canaan where Moses led them to, and they'd been told that God had promised them this land, and yet of all the spies, all but 2, maybe 3 of them, Joshua and Reuben, I believe, the rest came back and said the people are giants, we don't stand a chance of taking that land, whereas Reuben and Joshua were the only ones that said, no, this is incredible land, there's bunches of grapes so large we need 2 men to carry them, what are we waiting for? And for their the book of Deuteronomy gives some good accounts, or Leviticus, sorry, of how they took the land of Canaan. Anyway, talking about leading them into God's rest. For anyone who enters God's rest, also rests from their work. This is Hebrews chapter 10. So God did from this, let us therefore make every effort to enter the rest, so that no one will perish by following their example of disobedience. Now, Paul, in some of his letters to the Romans, he says about don't judge he says about don't judge the man that sees one day as above another. However, I do believe this letter to the Hebrews, which some believe was written by Paul. However, the language is certainly different to the letters he wrote to the churches of Galatians and the letter to Timothy. Anyway, so if you want to be part of God's rest, do exactly what he recommends, and it is for our benefit. It's to our detriment, I found out, to break the Sabbath day. No doubt about it. It's toxic all the way. So, don't follow the example of our... you guys are mentioning in the live chat about Charles not going to be your king, and I totally agree. He's not my king either. There's only one person you should ever pledge allegiance to, and it is, our Yehovah. Joe Command says, as long as you don't see it as a salvation issue. Well, exactly. It's not a salvation issue necessarily. It's just saying that to keep, not to fall into the examples of disobedience that led people to lose God's rest. Because even those that were in the wilderness, they didn't follow it, as this chapter tells us. And the message was of no value to them because they did not share the faith of those who obeyed. But definitely to your detriment not to. Right, the royal coronation. They're talking about in this one about how more police boots are on the ground to conquer any backlash. Do you think we'll see fighting on the Sabbath day? I can't get over it. I'm sorry, it's not nice. According to the Department of Health, and I'll show you why this is completely hypocritical, because I believe it was on our last live stream. The screen isn't lined up, my apologies. That should be better. Something about, why are they on about computer game companies after the UK competition regulator blocked its acquisition by Microsoft? Okay. The Times reports that almost 60 sub-postmasters and mistresses were wrongly accused of stealing money after a computer accounting error. What has this got to do with the coronation? Sorry, I'm not following this. Right. The Daily Mirror suggests that Millie Dowler's murderer... Okay, this has just gone completely off the subject now. They didn't stay on the coronation for long. Is that what you're seeing on your street? I can tell you what. You see a few really terrible cardboard flags stuck up here and there, but... And some shops, like charity shops, seem to be going ridiculously over the top, probably because they get donated flags all the time, and they're just so overrun with them that they're just sticking them up in their window now to finally make use of them. And then in 2 years' time, or however long, it'll be the World Cup, and people will be putting Union Jacks in their window again. All those football matches taking place on a Saturday, yeah, not good in my eye, but... yeah, it wasn't... Hang on, where was that article? Let me just find it 1 second. I will just cover my screen while I'm sure I opened the link that I was after. I know what it was. It wasn't a... Right, I need to change the image. Or I need to bring an image up, that was it. Where was it? I'll find it in 1 second. Yeah, it was the headline where they were criticising China for sending a person that wouldn't let people protest or some such. Right, where are we? Where's that headline? Right, I'm not finding... Oh, here we go. We got it. Yeah, so remember, they're telling us they're going to be putting more bobbies on the beats to tackle anyone protesting about... Well, there's plenty of reasons for people to protest. I'll show you I'm not sure how true this is. I'll have to... Yeah, again, I'll have to just spend a second getting it saved. But the amount... Well, I'll read them out, actually. It was a meme I saw. And if it's true, wow, what a joke. In fact, I'll try and get the image across. How would I do that? Yeah, it's talking about how much money is being spent on the day. What a, and what an insult it is. Okay, let me show you this. I don't know if you'd call this a meme or what, but right, hang on. Let me just get it up. 1 minute. Right. How are we doing? Yeah, we've got about 10, maybe 15 minutes left of the stream. We will be finishing up very soon. Well, I say very soon. I do try and finish by 10:30. Right, I'm not sure if any of you have come across this particular... Do they call a meme? I don't know. Right, apparently, let me make that image larger, if I can. Right. 2.5 million people in the UK need help from food banks. Over 4 million children in the UK suffer from food poverty. Yet the government use our money to pay for £100 million for the coronation, 8 million on portraits, over 5 million on emergency alerts, and 37 billion on the COVID-19 app. Yeah, and they do you think those numbers are right? I think we're going to have to look into this. We'll do a couple of searches for example. Oh, hang on. Right. Yeah, we'll do a search for how much is spent on the coronation. Of course, all public money. How much has spent on King's coronation? Just as I remember, everything's shut on a Sunday except for paper shops and petrol stations, even in London. Yeah, I still have memories of that when shops, they changed the law so that shops could open longer on a Sunday. Of course, I grew up, most of my, wow, more than 100 million. Again, that is never the genuine Prince Charles, not for a second. Don't know what that's supposed to be. It could be a couple of waxworks. Yeah, grew up believing Sunday to be the day of rest, but totally not really understanding what it meant. It's interesting how much of the law of the land is based on the based on the Ten Commandments, coincides with it, certainly. Much of even the laws now say that supermarkets can't be open for more than a few hours on a Sunday, although that's probably just trading. As you say, you mentioned paper shops, they still stayed open on a Sunday. Yeah, they were pretty much the only things from what I remember, and even they shut early. Right, a Home Office insider has revealed the cost of the coronation has been driven up by a security bill with thousands of police and protection squad. And yet, what was that we saw about where was it? The criticism of China, the Hong Kong crackdown architect, and yet they've got, they're spending 250 million taken up with police and protection squads. How do these people have their own private protection of the police? Surely the police should be investigating these people, not protecting them. A massive operation will push the cost of the coronation. Right, 150 will be needed to deploy thousands of police officers. Wow, 150. Oh, look at that, giving away my email addresses. Oh, you're welcome to email me if you need to. The rest goes on staging the ceremony and 3 days of celebration. What a joke. The eye-watering cost to taxpayers is despite the King's wishes for a slimmed-down, cost-effective monarchy. Yeah, good one. As if they really want that. Right. It cost Britain 1.57 million to stage the Queen's coronation in 53, which would have been 47 million in today's money, but ever-increasing security threats, which they fortunately now have an emergency alert to warn us about, and a series of planned domestic protests have sent the cost for Saturday's event. So they have got planned domestic protests, more Sabbath breakers, Operation Golden Orb. What exactly does that mean? It does always seem that these protests, where they have violence erupting, always seem to look exactly the same, with the same colours. Anyway, yeah, so way above earlier estimates. I wonder how much the Queen's funeral cost. I bet that was another hundreds of millions of goodness knows. And wouldn't it be absolutely ridiculous? Right, will the person... I'm not going to watch it, obviously, particularly not on the day, but I guess you failed to see footage of it pushed at us left, right and centre of Charles having the crown put on his head. I'll be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if that's already been done. They've already filmed it, probably at least 5 times, and they've got a team of editors who are working on it now to make whoever was sat on that throne, I don't know, Because how many people will actually be in that church or wherever it is, whatever, you know. It's not like I can just pop down and check the authenticity of it for myself. I mean, I probably wouldn't be able to get within 100 meters of the actual wherever it is they're doing the coronation. Not least because of these planned protests. That's the thing with these protests. If they already know it's going to happen, they've already told the police in advance, get your coppers down there. Right, groups like Just Stop Oil and the Republic could team up to cause disruption. Special forces will be on standby. Yeah, special forces. They mean psychological operations. It's got nothing to do with this rubbish, counter-terrorism. Well, maybe it has. Terrorism being... It's that what they're actually using. They use terrorism. So by counter-terrorism, that's countering it on their own people. Blue Thunder 2 helicopters poised in the event of an attack. What? Again, what do we see here? The colour orange, because they love getting their numbers in. And the skeleton in that image, given a one-eyed symbol, of course. Right, what a joke, hey? The head of emergency preparedness for the 2012 Olympics said it's a lot, but the final sum could be a lot more because the work that goes on in an event like this is monstrous. On Coronation Day itself, there will be an entire CBRN, chemical, biological, radiological and nuclear units across London all breaking the Sabbath day. There will be ammunition technology officers, firearms units. What a disgrace. As part of the preparedness strategy, the ambulance service will quadruple their efforts and the fire rescue will redouble their efforts. What, they're all every fire truck in London's going to be around this, is it? Let's hope they're... madness. And, yeah. What are these people? Witches carrying... I don't know. Bizarre stuff, that is for sure. Leslie Wyatt, great to see you in the chat. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, you hope everyone's well. I certainly am, and I thank you for your wishes, and I hope you are too, Leslie. You write down, may I write, I suspect the Queen left before she did, let's say. Yeah, totally agree with you. That would have happened well in advance, just like probably the crowning has happened well in advance. Greetings, Tone Dog, good to see you in the chat. You've shown a link. I'll certainly take a look at that in a minute. And Joker Man mentions orange being 33, but it's everywhere. That is a very good giveaway, that's for sure. Right, I am just gonna, as is my policy, as much as I, trust that people send links, I do like to review links that aren't part of YouTube. I muted myself by accident there, just to see what the link is, in case someone accidentally sent, a picture of their family or something, I don't know. Or, stuff they wouldn't want being shared on YouTube. I do like to review the links first. Greetings to Skeptic936. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Right. Charles being... Okay. The Economic Forum. We'll share that image. Hang on. I don't mind sharing that one. Are the royals, the crowned people, whatever they are, just donkeys for the World Economic Forum? They're certainly part of it. Now, yeah, we look through images of all the, the different images of the king, and hardly even 100% sure that it's not more than one person. Yeah, we'll see which one will be sat at the crown. Will be sat at the event. Will it actually be, if there is a real Charles, will that be them? Or will it just be another stand-in? Another look-alike? A completely CGI'd event? We will see. Yeah, a lot of the... Yeah, being part of the WEF certainly seems to be your introduction into whatever. Yeah, I mean every single, like, I don't know. There's very few celebrities that don't get mentioned by it. Yeah, I've never used IMGR. Oh yeah, by the way, talking about, before we finish, I mentioned at the start we watched Level Earth Observers, and talking about sharing information that people might not want to. I said the reason while I'll absolutely call out NASA and the ISS and the moon landings as absolute crap from start to finish, the reason I don't particularly cover it is just the scum that you have to deal with in the comment section. Apparently, I saw word that they've started putting people's details out online, like just that, the people that put this content out, just to try and, well, they can't sort of defeat their arguments. They've tried attacking their motives rather than their actual arguments that they make, and when all else fails, just put all their family's information out online. It's kind of just sort of justifies my decision to say, do you know what, I know the Earth isn't what the mainstream media have been telling us. Not for a second can possibly be the case, and I'm happy with that. I don't feel the need to try and convince a load of psychopaths, or I don't know what you'd call them, darn right deceptive people. But I do totally respect those people that do actually take the time to go out there and tell us that everything we've been taught about space, about the world, about how what we've been taught since the first day of school, it's all crap. So yeah, just hearing about that sort of justifies that reason as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, Leslie, I'm glad you're happy. Me too. It is good to see you back in the chat. Unfortunately, we are going to be wrapping up in the next sort of 5 minutes or so. As I did say earlier, that the further we get away from 11:30 PM, which it is here in the UK, the less my ability is to make sense. I will, however, be returning to the live stream airwaves on, let's have a look at our schedule. The next one will possibly be a Bobby Z show on, I do it Tuesday daytime. These times are guides only, with the exception of Sunday. They do seem to, my Sunday 10 PM live streams seem to happen like clockwork now, and the midweek streams, the times do change, although I've done the Bobby Z show for the last couple of Tuesdays. I might not 100% do it this week, but I'll certainly be back Thursday, if not. Around 8 PM, I've done it again the last couple of weeks, I've done them at 7 PM. So you will just have to look out for where I schedule the streams, like a good few hours before. I do my best to do that. Right, before we go, I am going to just remind anyone, if you have enjoyed the stream tonight and you want to show your appreciation, there are a couple of ways of doing it. You can hit the thumbs up button before you leave, and subscribe and share this video over on social media if you feel the need. Another way is by having a look at what I do over on Patreon. There is a link on this in the description. And on that note, I would like to thank Midnight Scribbler, otherwise known as Joker Man, and Linda Mack for supporting me over on Patreon, and also thanks to Nathan Oakley and Skeptic936, who was in the chat a little earlier, for also helping to keep this live stream, well, making it what it is, I'd say. So yeah, thank you for your support. If you want to find other ways you can, yeah, my contact details are in the description. Right. Okay, let's see. I'm starting to lose control of the live stream now and pressing all sorts of buttons. It's all going wrong. So while I've still got the ability, I'm just going to thank Leslie, Maria, Jokerman, Jeff Gashead, Tone Dial, Maria Ellender, and I've certainly mentioned Jeff Gashead, I believe. If not, then certainly thanks to you. Mudlark Digging at the Thames, I see you've been in the chat. Thanks ever so much for tuning in. Sorry I didn't see it earlier, actually. I haven't actually been looking too closely at it. My apologies. Let's see. I've just seen the chat earlier about Maria saying children are being terrorised in schools with all the climate change propaganda. You can guarantee in the next week they'll also have all this coronation rubbish drilled into their head. This will be, yeah, there will be no escaping that. You're absolutely right. Children are terrorised. We are terrorised from the day we start school. Jeff was also mentioning the Brave browser earlier and recommends it for anyone who doesn't want their data being sold or to, you know, have a safer browsing experience. So thank you for that suggestion. Okay, we're going to play out with one of my videos from, I'll try and hit the right one this time, about Stu Peters. Any Stu Peters fans out there, you may want to look away now, because I'm asking the question, is he controlled opposition? Okay, yep. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. Oh, Jeff says we're going to eat bugs. Not for me, thank you. I would rather eat vegetation. I am a vegetarian. And, yeah, I don't miss meat at all. For me, I no longer even see, if I smell meat, it doesn't make me hungry. It makes me feel, oh, what's that? You know, bad smell. It was a slow process going vegetarian though, but hopefully, well, yeah, and I do not trust, by the way, plant-based food when they're trying to push this old vegan meat food, something that tastes exactly like raw meat. Ugh, absolutely disgusting. Wouldn't eat it, do not trust it. But anyway, that's my opinion. Maria says, I can't believe people call Charlie a humanitarian. Isn't he like a conservationist as well? Isn't he supposed to be really into saving the bullfrog or something in the rainforest? I don't know, some cause they get behind. Yeah, of course, if there's charities being set up and the royals can get their names attached to them, then they always do for some reason. They're all patrons of some charity or another. It's crazy. Of course, charities being a wonderful way for organisations to dodge tax. Now, obviously, the royals don't pay tax, but wouldn't that be interesting if Charles was setting up the charities for his wealthy friends to divert all their taxes, you know? Yeah, just a big tax dodge. Who knows? Who knows how it works? It's a crazy world out there. And I thank you for joining me as we took we posed a critical eye on the rubbish we get told each week. Right, I'm going to start rambling now, so I'm going to leave you with my video from November 2022. Okay, thank you ever so much for joining us. Yeah, Leslie, it is 100% conditioning. And you're going to skip back and view to the beginning. Brilliant. Okay. Yeah, the pre-show, which is on there now, I played the same video as I did in the intermission, so my apologies on that. I will be cropping off the pre-show after usually about 16 hours. The pre-show's gone. Although I do have it saved if anyone ever desperately wants to watch it. I'm sure I could put it up somewhere. Okay, yeah, Joker Man says, God bless. Totally agree. Yeah, God bless indeed. Okay, have a good few days. I might be back Tuesday. If not, I'll certainly be back on Thursday. Just look out for me scheduling the vids. And thanks ever so much for tuning in. And I'm going to say over and out. Let me bring up my little message, actually. There we go. Okay. Good night. Take care. Guys, Stu Peters. I did a video looking at